Hello all and welcome back to Seconds Out, and today I bring you some breaking news. Queensbury Promotions have just put out the following statement. Due to a hand injury sustained during training camp, DILLIAN WHYTE will no longer be able to compete in his scheduled bout on the 5th of April against Joe Joyce at the Carp Live in Manchester. A replacement opponent is now being finalised for the Juggernaught. An announcement regarding this will be made shortly. As you can see there, the proof's in the pudding with that statement. We will not be seeing DILLIAN WHYTE in the ring anymore on April the 5th. Really upsetting news. It's a great fight, Joyce versus White. If we don't get it, we don't get it. That's that. What I'm here to do today is to give you five potential opponents that me, Joshua Hart, would like to see step in. So I'm going to go in with my first option, and that is the one that has been reported on social media, and that is Jermaine Franklin. I think Jermaine Franklin's a fantastic replacement to bring in. He arguably beat DILLIAN WHYTE back in the November of 2022, and in April 2023 gave Anthony Joshua 12 very tough rounds and proved himself to be a solid heavyweight. I'm not going to say an elite level heavyweight, but a very solid heavyweight. And at the stage that Joe Joyce is at, it was a winner stays on, loser goes home type of fight with DILLIAN WHYTE. That fight with Franklin could kind of be similar because Joyce is that step below what White and Joshua were at the time, whereas now it's a winnable fight. Out of all three of those, this is the most winnable fight for Franklin that he'll get. Um, so yeah, I'd like to see Jermaine Franklin. Another name I'd like to put forward, Fabio Wardley. Now hear me out. I know people might be going, "Oh, I don't know about that," but hear me out. Fabio Wardley is a fighter who stays ready. He stays in the gym, he stays ready, and he wants that big break at world level. I I know he's ranked number one with the WBA, but his best win on his record is Fraser Clark and Nathan Gorman. And I don't think they're good enough names to earn you a world title shot right now. I think a win against Joe Joyce, especially taking it on short notice, would do wonders for his career. His career is already in a great place. From what it seems like, Queensbury have a lot of talks with him to headline at Portman Road in Ipswich later on this year, probably in the summertime. A lot of interesting conversations getting had, and a very interesting future for Fabio Wardley. But that'll be a real crossroads fight for us to truly gauge where Fabio Wardley's at. We already know what level he is at. We know that he's above that British level because he has held that belt for a long time. The night Franklin arguably beat DILLIAN WHYTE was the night that Fabio Wardley won his British title. We know that he's above that British level, but the step from the British level in the heavyweight division to the world level is massive. And I think Joyce is still above that British level, but he's not quite at the pinnacle anymore in that top 10, I'd say. I'd say for Wardley, I'd say that is the fight. That'd be great. I suggested this fight back in October um after the knockout against Fraser Clark. That's why I suggested on my Twitter. I put, listen, Wardley versus Joyce, who says yes? So yeah, that'd be a good fight to see. My third option, Lawrence Okolie. Now again, Lawrence Okolie, okay, yes, he is scheduled to face Richard Riakporhe on the card, but this fight has been spoke about before. This fight has been offered before. Joe Gallagher reported, he said to us here at Seconds Out that Joyce's team pulled him from the negotiation and said that the fight was almost done. Um, Again, that's an interesting fight because we still don't quite know how much Lawrence Okolie has at heavyweight. We've seen him in that one fight against a very below level average opponent. Wasn't anywhere near Okolie's level, regardless of what weight division. Um, and the Riakporhe fight will teach us more because Riakporhe is a proven opponent, but Riakporhe isn't proven at heavyweight. I'd like to see Okolie go in there and actually face an actual heavyweight. I'm not classifying Riakporhe as an actual heavyweight because he's not fought there. So I think you've got to float that idea out to Joyce and float it out to Okolie and maybe bring in someone else for Riakporhe at heavyweight. Maybe that's where you then drag in a Jermaine Franklin because I don't think Joyce Franklin is the best option out of them all. I think Joyce Okolie and then drag Franklin to face Riakporhe. Because then for Riakporhe, that is a great first fight at heavyweight as well. That's the type of fight they should have been looking to make it for Okolie originally. Option number four, Jarell Miller. enough said here with Jarell Miller. He was meant to face, or was rumored to face Derek Chisora, but had some ongoing legal issues with his promoter. If they've all been resolved, Jarell Miller's guaranteed entertainment every time, and I feel is a style that is either tailor-made for Joyce or Joyce's worst nightmare, and that's the simple thing because he Jarell Miller will make himself hittable, but Joyce is also very hittable. But Jarell Miller will stay on the front foot, and so will Joe Joyce. So does it come down to a whoever lands first type of fight? Is that what we're going to be looking at with that one, if that's the one that gets made? Um, it's a fight I really like. I really like the sound of that fight. It's one that I think ticks all the boxes. It ticks every single box out there. It'll be exciting. It will have a good build up. It will do good numbers both in the arena and on TV. And it's a great main event. You've got to remember, Queensbury want to kick this one off with a bang. This is their first show on DAZN. That's why White versus Joyce was so good. It's your first show with your new broadcaster. You want to hit the ground running with something sensational, and that's what this heavy impact card has so far. It is just now lacking that main event. Not because the main event's crap, because there is no main event right now. We've only got half of it. We need the other half. Um, Another name that I'd like to float out there, David Adeleye. Because hear me out. Coming off a good win against Sol Dakers, the British title seems to be a little bit tied up. Could we possibly look at that fight? Because Adelaide wants to bridge up and take, he wants to walk over the bridge from English level, British level, I guess you could say as well, maybe, over to that gap into that European fringe world level. Joyce is the perfect fight for that. And I think Adelaide would be catching Joyce at the right time. It would very much be youth against experience. And it would work. It would work. Um, would it work as a headliner? I don't know. I think it would work way better as a headliner down south, down in London. In Manchester, I'm not sure. Um, and I'm gonna throw another name into the mix. There's one more name, a name number six, honorable mention, Huey Fury. Hear me out. Huey Fury's just inked a big promotional deal with GBM Sports. Um, Looking obviously boxing on April 4th at York Hall already. So he's already going to be in a training camp, supposedly set to try and set up a bigger fight on May 23rd and at GBM's freshly announced Doncaster football stadium fight night. If Huey wants to get himself back into that big mix, taking a last minute fight with Joyce when it's only adding an extra day uh, to the original fight date, I think it's the perfect fight. And I think it's a very winnable fight for Huey Fury, and it will catapult him back into that big picture. At the same time, it's a winner stays on, loser goes home type of fight again. Um, but I'd say a bigger one. I'd say it's a winnable fight for Joyce as well. I think that's the one I'd probably like to see most, you know. No. Right. Huey Fury versus Joe Joyce would be a great fight to make, and I think it would sell well. I think it'd be received well, and I think we would find out an awful lot about how much both guys have left, if you know what I'm saying, because they've both been around for a while. I know Huey Fury's a lot younger than what people think he is, but just because your age is young doesn't mean that your body's young. Do you know what I mean? You know, when you put your body through so much shit, and so much, just you work it as hard as what a boxer does, it's going to struggle and it's going to deteriorate a lot quicker than the average person's, or the average healthy person, I guess you could say. Okay, so my order, I want Joyce Wardley at number one. I think that's the one I'd like to see most. Joyce Miller number two, because I think that's all action. Joyce Okolie number three, because I think we'll find out a lot about Lawrence Okolie as a heavyweight there. Joyce versus Franklin at number four. Joyce versus Adeleye at five. Franklin at six. Franklin, I don't have as much interest in. Adeleye, I got a bit more interest in. I think the Adeleye one would just be a cool one. It's that bridging fight. It's levels that would seem quite far apart, but maybe not when they get in the ring, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that is all from me anyway, folks. Hope you've enjoyed. Hope you like the names I've suggested. And yeah, hopefully we get to see one of those six that I've listed. Until then, I'll speak to you all again very soon.